Can you tell me about taking Fat Joe to meet the Honorable Louis Farrakhan?
Yes, it's probably 94. The minister called for a rap summit. At that time, hip hop was in a state of flux, with East Coast, West Coast beef. And so the minister asked for all of the rappers to come. And of course, being in the rap scene at that time, I had access to artists. So I was able to bring Fat Joe to Minister's house. In fact, Fat Joe would never fly. So he said, brother, I'm going to drive. I'm going to leave a day early and I'm going to drive. And it was important because at the time he had a beef with Ice Cube. And he objected to Ice Cube making a song. Hip hop started in the West. I think it was him, WC had made this record together.
Oh, the West Side Connection.
Yeah, the West Side Connection. And so there was this little beef because remember, the West Coast felt some type of way because only the DJs embraced East Coast hip hop and they didn't feel relevant and respected by East Coast artists because the East Coast epitomized hip hop. And this is actually how down south felt, that they started, that they actually running the rap industry for the last 12, 15, damn near 20 years. But the West Coast had a chip on their shoulder. And so they made that record in reference. So there was feelings that East Coast artists had, especially when the East Coast held down Ice Cube. Ice Cube, when he left NWA, right, and they were feeling salty in that NWA camp, he came to New York, got love from Hank Shockley. Remember that song that he made, A Burn, Hollywood Burn, with NWA? I mean, he was the only rapper that rocked the Apollo with Jerry curls, in his early days of leaving NWA. And so not only was that beef resolved, there was a beef between Common and Common and Cube had a beef. They came together, settled their beef. Snoop Dogg was there. It was a beautiful thing. It was the first of two that I attended, and that was a blessing to see the minister work and to see his influence. So there you had 5%ers, you had gangbangers, you had Christians, you had people from the street that didn't have any affiliation religious at all or any particular philosophical persuasion. And you just had people who loved hip hop, and the minister gave us some guidance there, and it was a beautiful day.
Once upon a time, Cam and Ice Cube had beef. Was the minister involved in squashing that beef as well?
I'm not sure if he did it at that particular, because I remember there were two that we went to. I'm not sure if he had did it then, but I know it was addressed.
So there's been a lot of East Coast, West Coast beef. Do you think that was media influence or was it real?
I think that one of the things that hip hop breeds is competition. And so there's always competition. So there was competition amongst going before rap records between the Cold Crush Brothers, the Fantastic Five and the Furious Five and the Funky Four. There's always been competitions with DJs, Grand Wizard Theodore, Grandmaster Flash, Grand Mixer DST. I think that we have to look at, there was a time when it was hip hop culture and then it became hip hop industry. Hip hop industry, you had marketing, you had promotions, you had people competing for sales, you had people competing for their spot on the charts, you had people competing for relevancy. So I think that then when you mix ego, when you mix testosterone, when you mix, over masculinization, that was a deadly recipe for the press to actually add fuel to the fire, to the natural competition that existed. In fact, if those who are still living would revisit the time and their contribution to keep the beef going and the collateral damage that it caused, I think that all of them would have said, you know, I would have handled myself and conducted myself differently. The devil is always in the details.
Mm. Why didn't it escalate to those heights back in the day? Because, I mean, you guys, like you said, had your rap battles, go out to the park, the DJs were battling, but it didn't get like the Tupac Biggie thing.
Because there was no hatred there. It was a known fact. Bring your skills to the battle. Bring your skills to the battle. And if you lose, you bow down, you brush your shoulders off, practice, and when you think you're ready, you come on come on back. And so, you know, I think that what battling, you know, that was in the infant stage of battling. The same thing when it was about breakdancing. It was about doing a graffiti, one piece next to the other. You let the people decide. And I think that one of the negative additions to hip hop was, yo, I want to blow him out the frame. I want to make him non-relevant. It became a competition because once money gets involved, it's like you want the lion's share of the money. You want to destroy. Now, that's something that people were driven to destroy people and destroy careers. And you've seen how that played out with 50 Cent and Ja Rule, you know. And if you listen to the new artists of today, it's about staying on top at all costs.